Hello and welcome to today's Catholic Focus News Bulletin. I'm Susan Bulemi, and with me on the Sign Language Interpretation Desk is Eric Maluki. The Franciscan Symposium here in Kenya has entered its second day here in Nairobi, with the gathering bringing together Franciscan religious, clergy, and experts at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. Participants are sharing experiences and exploring ways of offering meaningful, people-centered service inspired by the spiritual legacy of Saint Francis of Assisi as the Church marks 800 years since his death.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we learn a lot when we meet with professors like this. It's only that time is not with us, he could have lectured for the next 2 hours, and they won't get tired. And that's the beauty of having a professor amidst you. We have talked about empathy, but what professor is saying that it's not about empathizing with everybody, but having intellectual empathy. That means putting yourself on the shoe of others so that you genuinely understand them. And without empathy, the world can be such an ugly place. And he has reminded us that we must have sympathy and empathy. He has changed the world. He has mentioned his experience in Ethiopia, his experience in Kenya, and we can see the product. He's not just talking out of nowhere, but we can see the product. When he presented this young boy here, we can see has changed the world. And the question we are asking ourselves, are you able to change the world? With the little things you do. Maybe your prayers, maybe by assisting people by advice, or if you have resources, are you able definitely to make world a better place? And therefore, we thank you, Professor. And I want to open the floor for some questions, if you have a few questions for the Prof, and then we go to the next session. Maybe 2-3 questions.
And of course, our dear viewer, the event is still ongoing here at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, and at the moment there is a Holy Mass that is being presided over by Most Reverend Philip Anyolo, the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Nairobi. Now, moving on and still on matters concerning the Church, the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Bungoma, Right Reverend Mark Kadima, has commended the unity and strong faith of Catholics in the diocese, which he says has contributed to the growth of the Catholic faithful and the establishment of 74 parishes. Speaking during the consecration of the Uganda Martyrs Church in Busia, Bishop Kadima attributed the growth to the strong collaboration between priests and the faithful. He urged Catholics to embrace humility and repentance as a true expression of their faith in God.
Sasa tuna parokia 74, okay? The diocese has 74 parishes and with 1.6 million Catholics, 60% of the population in this diocese is Catholic.
Humility, like Zacchaeus, to know that what he has given you, Zacchaeus was not a unisamehe, nimekosa. Hiyo ndio dhihirisho ya kwanza ambayo ya kwamba umekutana na Mungu na umesali kweli katika kanisa kama hili. Sisi tuko hapa na tukitoka hapa, mimi nikiwa wa kwanza nitakiri makosa ya kwamba mimi sio Mungu. Mimi ni binadamu, naweza kukosa, na kama nimekosea watu nasema nimekukosea, nimekusamehe, nimekuibia na kulipa. Sisi tuko hapa kutabaruku hii kanisa, kuonyesha kwamba Mungu anapatikana kwa maombi yetu, na tukikutana na yeye mpaka tuseme tumekosa, tumeiba, okay, tumenyang'ana. Hata tukiwa watu wakubwa, with God every time is zero. Zakaria but he was a thief. After he met God is when he realized that I've been stealing. So thieves who are here, murudishe mali. Mwende murudishe. Kama umechukua mke wa mtu, bibi ya mtu umechukua, shamba ya mtu umechukua, benki ya mtu umechukua, gari ya mtu umechukua, rudisha leo.
Moving on, President William Ruto has reaffirmed the importance of Kenya's constitution, describing it as a cornerstone of the country's democratic order and safeguard against abuse of power. Speaking during the Katiba Day Symposium at the Kenyatta International Convention Center here in Nairobi, President Ruto said the constitution not only limits and distributes power, but also provides checks and balances and protects citizens' rights, including access to health care, housing, sanitation, and food.
On this day, 16 years ago, Kenya did not merely promulgate a new supreme law. We entered a new constitutional order and renewed the covenant upon which our republic is established. Generations of Kenyans had struggled and sacrificed for this moment. They wanted a nation governed not by the whims of the mighty and powerful, but by the sovereign will of the people. A nation in which authority would be restrained by law, public office exercised as a trust, and every institution held accountable to the citizens it serves. With that in mind, Katiba Day, 16 years later, must be more than an annual anniversary. It must be a day of national accounting. We must take a collective pause and reflect on a few critical questions. Have we faithfully implemented the Constitution? Have we exercised the authority it confers upon us responsibly? Have we effectively delivered the rights that the Constitution guarantees? And have our institutions fully honored the purposes for which they were established? These questions apply to the executive, to parliament, to the judiciary, to the national and county governments, to constitutional commissions and independent offices, and to every state and public officer. Our Constitution performs two equally important principles. First, it restrains power. It shares authority, establishes checks and balances, protects fundamental freedoms, and provides remedies against abuse. Second, it manages power. It commands the state to govern, protect, and progressively realize the social and economic rights of the people. Our responsibility is to uphold both obligations. Power must be managed and rights must be assured. That is why Article 43 is central to any honest assessment of constitutional implementation. It guarantees every person the right to the highest attainable standards of health, accessible and adequate housing, and reasonable standards of sanitation.
And in a bid to hold leaders accountable, Labour Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua has renewed concerns over the alleged neglect of development projects initiated during his tenure as Machakos governor, calling for the restoration of key water and sanitation facilities. Our reporter Maureen Kimani with more details.
During his visit to Machakos County, Mutua singled out the Kitongi Community Borehole in Kagundo constituency, which he says has broken down and been abandoned, leaving residents, including school-going children, without a reliable source of water.
Nimefika hapa nikashtuka kwa sababu mimi nikiwa governor nilichimba borehole 645 kwa kaunti ya Machakos. Na ndio watu wasilipe ile pesa, tunaambiwa ulipe pesa, hakuna pesa ya kulipia stima, tukaweka zote solar panel. Maji, alafu maji ilikuwa ya bure bila malipo. Hakuna mtu alikuwa analipishwa maji because we said water is life. Water is life. Tukaweka mifereji, tukaweka kila mahali. Sasa nimeshtuka kuambiwa hizi borehole hazifanyi kazi. The boreholes we used government money. Tulipia pesa ya serikali kuchimba boreholes. Sasa wananchi wanasema borehole hazifanyi. Mwalimu hapa anatembea na mask. Kwa sababu hii vumbi iko hapa, watu wakicheza ni nyingi na ilikuwa nyasi. Umeona? Akina mama wananiambia wamerudi kwa mto.
He also raised concerns over the Kawithei Market toilet constructed during his administration, which he says has remained closed under unclear circumstances, forcing traders, particularly women, to seek alternative sanitation facilities.
Na nimesikia vibaya sana kuongea na mama mkongwe hapa na wasichana hapa, hasa akina mama wananiambia kwamba wanaendanga kwa kichaka hapa nyuma wakija hapa na wana maduka hapa, wanauza mamboga hapa. Mama anasema anaendanga kujisaidia pale nyuma. And we are supposed to be civilized people. You know, the simple thing of taking care of sewer. Nilijenga choo na nikasema free toilets. Hata kwa highways tukajenga free toilets because the dignity of using a toilet, it's a mark of civilization. How can our grandmothers here, our fathers here, our children here wanaenda kwa kichaka kama wanyama wa pori in 2026? Na mnasema ati ni maskini. Sio maskini.
Residents Catherine Soy and Abanas Macau have decried what they described as poor service delivery.
Kutoka hiyo borehole iharibiwe, tuko na shida mingi ya maji. Wamama wanaendea huko kwa visima, tunahangaika sana kuchota maji tukitumia mitungi. Baba zetu hata kuoga ni shida. Boreholes Mukunike sublocation tuko na boreholes 3. Kuna hii ya Kitongi, kuna ingine ya Mukunike pale chini St Mary's Mukunike High School, na kuna ingine inaitwa Kwandeto. Yenye inafanya kazi saa huu ni Kwandeto. Ya Kitongi na ya Mukunike hazifanyi kazi. Na hata ukienda hapo huwezi jua kama kulikuwa na borehole. Solar system zote zimeharibiwa, zimekatakatwa, wires.
Kwa hii shule watoto wanakunywa maji huko kwa masimo huko. Last season kuna mtoto aliingia hapo, tukapoteza huyo mtoto akienda kuchota maji. Sasa tuko na shida ya maji huku Kitongi.
Mutua has called on the Machakos County government to urgently restore the abandoned water projects and reopen public facilities, stressing that development projects should be maintained and sustained for the benefit of residents. As residents and leaders call for better service delivery across the county, they now hope their concerns will be heard and action taken to address their pressing needs. Reporting for Catholic Focus, I'm Maureen Kimani.
In other news, county governments have been urged to strengthen partnerships with non-governmental organizations to improve healthcare delivery. The call was made in Kilifi County during the handover of 19 laptops and motorcycles donated by LVCT Health. The equipment is expected to boost digital data collection and transmission at grassroots health facilities while improving the mobility of healthcare workers.
To receive laptops and motorbikes from the USAID Tawisha Pwani that will catalyze service delivery in line with the UHC agenda in this county. We have received 3 motorbikes that will help us in facilitating sample referrals from the periphery health facilities to where the reference laboratories are. And this is a very critical component in service delivery because not all health facilities have the required laboratories equipment, and as such, therefore, we'll have a team of riders that will be moving around the primary healthcare facilities, picking designated specimens to designated referral laboratories where the investigations, the screenings will be done, and this therefore will give us really an opportunity for our clientele to have the results at a low cost.
This is an opportunity for us to strengthen the partnership that we've had with the county government, because the county government is really the main provider of health services in this region. We as partners just come to complement what they're doing. We have been here for 5 years, and it's time to complete the transition process. And just as he has said, to support service delivery, we've supported the county with laptops as part of health system strengthening. You know, data management is very critical. When you do work, we can only know if you have reported, if you have outputs and outcomes. And it's important for the county health management team and the sub-county health management team to be equipped adequately to be able to document the work that they have done. And then the motorbikes are here to support the sample networking. And let me say that it's an opportunity to integrate. If there are any small things that can be transported between the small facilities and large facilities, then the county can integrate. And so we are keen for the next few months that we are here before we officially hand over. We are going to partner and twin together just to see that the transition process is done well.
Now we shift our focus to the healthcare sector. Clinical officers in Migori have urged the county government to fast-track implementation of the SHA comprehensive medical cover to ensure union members and their dependents have access to quality healthcare services. The union says delayed salary remittances since July have disrupted access to SHA services, leaving members struggling to obtain medical care.
For the county government, if your salary is not paid by 9th of every month, SHA automatically locks you out of service. We've had delay in salaries for July and August by covering several counties, Migori County government being one of them. So our members and the people who depend on them, the dependents in the SHA, have been suffering immensely because they are not able to seek medical services owing to the fact that the subscriptions have not been submitted by the county government. We are pleading with the county government that we've seen how SHA works. You don't submit the monthly subscriptions by 9th of every month, we are locked out. We initially had an agreement an agreement that was ongoing about having a comprehensive cover for healthcare workers. This cover, I think, was extended to the rest of other county workers. So we are pleading with the county government, kindly fast-track the implementation of a comprehensive cover, not only for healthcare services, because as a healthcare worker, how are you going to offer services to a patient when you yourself or a dependent cannot get the same services using that SHA cover? I'm calling upon all members who are clinical officers within Migori County, who are serving under the county government of Migori, that we continue staying away from work until this particular issue is addressed by the relevant authorities.
Having a very big challenge with the scheme we are in SHA. The issue of SHA is not that the SHA is not working, but the scheme that us county government workers, healthcare workers, those who are employed by the county are in, is a scheme that is not favorable, both to us and also to our dependents. We are being deducted over 3,000 shillings every month, but we get the services that even in our referral hospital, we cannot get a test that goes beyond 1,000 because of the scheme that we are in. That's the reason why we are calling upon the governor and the county government to ensure that the scheme, or to ensure that we get an alternative cover, just like some other counties where there is an alternative cover where if SHA fails, they can get services through that other cover.
This one thing we are calling the comprehensive SHA. It's really draining us. Imagine a situation whereby you are offering services which you yourself you can't get. You have to use your extra cash, or rather your money, to be given those services. Yet you are the very person who is offering them. It's a really saddening situation that we will wish our members to continue undergoing through.
To comprehensive medical cover, I also want to report here that we met with the Council of the Unions and formed a technical committee to look into how they can have their comprehensive medical cover. So, we shall be submitting this report to the head of the public service, which eventually we gave a timeline of its implementation, which we said would be within this financial year.
Moving on, Machakos County has stepped up preparations for the expected heavy rains, with authorities warning residents to take precaution against possible flooding and property damage. Machakos Municipal Manager Judah Mumo says the county is addressing flood-prone areas and relocating residents who have built in unsafe locations. He has also urged residents to avoid dumping waste in drainage channels, warning that blocked waterways could trigger flooding.
Leo tumekuwa na kikao ambacho ama kamati ambayo imeweza kukutana ili tukaweze kuangalia ama kuangazia machache ama mengi kuhusu El Nino ambayo tunaitarajia. Na tulikuwa hapa tumekutana na maafisa wa municipality, kuna issues zimeibuka kuhusu El Nino. Hivi basi tunataka kuambia watu wa Machakos municipality ya kwamba serikali ya Machakos kupitia kwa gavana wetu Wavinya Ndeti ameona ni vizuri tukutane ili tukaweze kuangazia maneno haya ya El Nino, na hivi basi katika kikao hiki mengi yamezungumzwa, na tunataka kuambia watu wa Machakos ya kwamba gavana wetu ako na hisia nzuri ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mkaaji wa municipality ya Machakos ameishi katika eneo ambayo inastahili na inafaa wakati wa El Nino. Na tulipokuwa kwa kikao, mengi ambayo yamezungumziwa ni kwamba kuna watu ambao wako na mtindo ya kuweka takataka pahala ambapo hapastahili. Kwa mfano, utapata watu wanachukua takataka zao ama taka wanachukua taka wanaingiza katika mitaro yetu ambayo ni ya kupitiza maji. Na hivi basi katika kamati mahali tulikuwa tumeketi tumeongea kwamba tafadhali hii iwe onyo. Kama wewe unajua ya kwamba unachukua taka zako unaingiza katika mitaro yetu ya maji, ni juu yako sasa uanze kujipanga, kwa sababu sisi hatutavumilia hayo mambo ya wewe kuchafua mitaro yetu inaposafishwa. Na hivi basi hakuna haja wewe ushikwe upelekwe kotini kwa sababu ya uchafu. Juu yako kuangalia uchafu mahali ambapo unafanyia kazi. Vile vile tumeongea mambo na riparian areas. Unapata wewe umejenga mahali ambapo uko katika riparian area. Wewe anza kujipanga. Kama unajua umejenga katika riparian area, anza kujipanga. Maafisa wetu watapita kila pahali wakiweka X, wakimark X. Hivi basi ukipatikana, wewe ujue utaondoa hizo vitu zako umetengeneza pale. Kama ni kioski umejenga mahali kuna riparian, utatoa. Kama ni container umeweka mahali kuna riparian, utatoa. Kama ni mjengo umejenga mahali kuna riparian, wewe ujipange, utatoa hiyo. Hakuna question, kwa sababu kuna ile act inatusaidia tunapotengeneza ama tunapotekeleza mambo kama haya. kuna Urban Areas and Cities Act ambayo iko clear ya kwamba kama umefanya hii unafaa uadhibiwe hivi, kama umefanya hii unafaa uadhibiwe namna hii. Kwa hivyo tafadhali, hatutaki kuadhibu watu wa Machakos municipality. Tafadhali tuangalie, tuzingatie maneno kama hayo.
Well, that report right there from Machakos County brings us to the end of today's Catholic Focus News Bulletin. But just a reminder once again that the Franciscan Symposium is still ongoing at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa. So make sure you stay tuned to learn more about the legacy of St. Francis of Assisi. I am Susan Bulemi. Our sign language interpreter has been Eric Maluki. Until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and remember to always keep it Capuchin TV.
Keep watching Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel.